clicked on the wrong one. All right, Dan, you start the intro and I'll turn the camera on. How do you like that?
Welcome to the Overheard podcast, recorded live in Banff. We got the video feed back on.
Let's go.
Episode 49. My name's Daniel Rudel. With me always my co-host.
We got Matty Rage. Let's go.
What is good? Our guest this week, Chris Barkhouse. We'll dive into a little bio first. If it's your first time joining us, don't forget to give us a like and subscribe. Bring you new episodes every Tuesday, community-based episodes right here in Banff. If you don't already, go follow at Overheard Pod Banff. Get you all the latest news and exclusive content, guest releases like a couple days in advance so you know what's going on.
Hell yeah.
This week, we have the pleasure of sitting down with longtime local Chris Barkhouse. He's originally from the Annapolis Valley, Nova Scotia. A few of you guys kicking around the town of Banff.
No doubt.
We'll get to that in a bit. Comes from a musical family. Both parents played in bands. Grandmother sang and played guitar. Started his first band in grade 6.
Damn.
Wild stuff. Started recording in junior high on analog systems. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Continued with bands and recording throughout high school, where he got his first digital setup in the late 90s. Then he graduated in 2001. After 2001, graduated what? You said 2003.
Yeah, 2003.
After the
2003, kind of a crossover.
after that, recording artist, now famous actually, Blacked Out, the band, asked you to come down to Banff to help do some recording, and you worked at CD Plus at the time to help pay the bills.
Nice.
The old CD Plus. He was raving about CD
those
Plus.
stories, man.
And it's a different time, you know.
Since then has gone to form his own projects, working in collaboration with several others. You may recognize Chris from his time spent working live sound at the Rose and Crown Banff, Wild Bill's Legendary Saloon. More recently, working in media and coding at the Banff Center.
Nice.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks, guys.
Let's go.
Quite the accolades. Thanks for
being
coming
here,
by,
buddy.
man.
No doubt. So you got a pretty stacked resume there, buddy.
Well, you know.
Been around the block.
A long journey in music,
No doubt.
definitely.
No doubt. How did you get into music? Like when did you start? Like 'cause he said grade 6. You had your first band.
Yeah, man. I mean, both my
wild.
parents, they played in bands. They played in a band together.
Nice.
Recorded a record, toured around Nova Scotia, doing the college circuit. Stuff
Oh,
like
yeah,
that, you know. And then had me, so you know they were still playing shows and doing
Cool.
all that stuff, and I kind of just it rubbed off. They, bring me to practice with them, and I would
Cool.
sing with the band when I was
Nice.
young.
That's
how
sick.
you
Yeah.
and then just eventually, my dad introduced me to drums, and I just
Cool.
Sorry to cut you off here. I just got a message. We'll just get this a little closer. I'm having a hard
Yeah,
time
yeah.
hearing you.
yeah.
There you go.
There we go.
Nice to have instant feedback.
I know. I do got to, my mom texts me. She tunes
Oh,
in.
yeah, she tunes right in
Big
every
shout out
week.
to my mom, Lise. She tunes in every week, and if there's any technical issues, she'll text me.
Amazing.
So
Amazing.
big thank you. We'll just do a little mic check. So yeah, pretty wild stuff. Been doing music since the 6th grade, playing drums, you said?
Yeah, I started playing drums, just playing with another guy whose parents in the same situation. Dad was in a band playing bass. So
Cool.
He was a guitar player, and we kind of linked in elementary school, and started playing a little bit together, and formed a small band, I guess. And a big repertoire of like 3 or 4 songs, I guess, at that point. But hey, you got to start somewhere, right?
Now, what type of music was your band playing in grade 6?
Well, I mean, that was kind of like around 90, 93, so we're in the grunge era.
Yes,
So
sir.
we're playing a
There
lot
you
of, Nirvana and Green Day, Stone Temple Pilots, things like that.
Awesome.
Well, I mean, trying to play.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? You only do so much when you're 10.
That's awesome. So a little grunge band in
Yep,
grade
little
6.
grunge band.
That must have been pretty hardcore to see. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was fun times.
So the industry's come a long way. You mentioned in your bio that you started recording on analog gear. What does that look like for maybe some of our younger audiences, myself included? I can't say that I've ever seen like I know what cassettes are. I guess that would be
Yeah.
Analog
that's
gear.
That's an analog recording medium for sure.
so it would be just using tape, right?
Absolutely. So tape and vinyl are the most popular. For
Okay.
Sure. They're the most known analog recording mediums.
I was working with tape.
What's
Like
that?
how I was working with tape. Did you have like the
well,
big tape machine, or did
yeah,
you have like one of
well,
the little like the
both.
mini like recorders?
We, I guess in the beginning, wanted, the band wanted to start recording things, as inevitably you do when you're in a band. You know, that time things aren't as accessible to you when you're super young, especially then recording gear was more expensive.
Oh, big time.
For sure.
So yeah, we started on kind of like just cassette tape recording, open mics in rooms, stuff just to get demos together to get little gigs to play.
Yeah.
And then we would go and we would pay other people to record us on little tiny 4-track tape machines.
Okay, so something that you would just use like a household tape
Well, it was
recorder.
like a small little 4-channel console, which went directly to cassette.
Okay.
Obviously, lots of limitations there.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah, that gets hard. That gets difficult.
But yeah, and then following all that, my dad he had an 8-track reel-to-reel machine and an 8-track Fostech mixer, and he recorded us, and that was when I kind of started to be like, okay, this is how you're supposed to be doing these recordings. Like this is sounding better.
So for people that don't know, right, 8 tracks, that means you can record 8 different instruments and record them onto one tape.
Onto one tape, 8 simultaneous.
Okay,
channels
that
and
would have been groundbreaking stuff at the time.
Huge for us, yeah. So that was kind of the eye-opening thing there. And now, after that, I would follow my dad around when he went to do other recordings with the gear. So I kind of got to know how, to upkeep it, how to operate it a little bit. But then, of course, that all leads directly into the beginning of digital and being more accessible. Digital been around for a while, but not so accessible, really expensive in the beginning.
100%.
Any type of digital recording. So when personal computers finally came down in price, you could get a small digital setup, maybe only 2 channels in on the sound card, but still a little better quality than recording to tape. So
crazy. I can't imagine working with tape as a medium just for any type of editing or cutting or anything. We're back on. Sorry about the cut here. We just had to do a little mic test here. Wild stuff. So the transition from analog to digital, you said you started with a Mac computer?
Yeah, an old 5260 was the first thing I ever recorded digital audio onto, and it was I don't even think it was a 16-bit sound card. It was like 12 or 14-bit, but hey, whatever we had, right?
Whatever did the job.
We would sum everything into an 8-channel mixer and just record it straight to the computer.
Nice.
And that's how we would do it until we could afford to use multi-channels, and breakout boxes became a thing.
I'm just starting to get into like understanding how all this stuff works now, because Matt's been
Dan's
so kind to show me. I can't imagine going back onto tape.
Yeah.
But even the early stance of digital, I remember being maybe in the early 2000s in high school, and I was like, oh, I'm going to get into making beats, like every little hip hop head does.
Before they got sued by Kellogg's or whatever.
No, I used I got a bootleg copy of Ableton on a
nice.
PC, and I was making like very basic beats with that. But I remember having it like lag out and putting stuff into it, like putting different samples that you get off Ableton in, and then having it like render for minutes before being able to actually play the beat.
Oh yeah, that shit's wild.
So it's pretty crazy how far technology's come in such a short amount of time. What would you say would be like a disadvantage? Is there something that you like from the analog system? Maybe the sound or like...
Yeah, I guess the warmth that you would get from an analog recording is, and you can, compared to digital, when you push an analog signal a little bit into the red or to a clipping point, you get like a warmer sound. It warms up and saturates before it, becomes nasty.
Yeah.
But then, you do the same thing to a digital recording, and once you hit that line, it is... and chaos. It's unpleasant. It's not a good sound. So, I guess there's advantages that way. And some people, still use analog recording today. Like, you can record a drum kit to 8 channels of analog tape and get that nice tape saturation on the drums, which is imparted when you record to that medium. So, It's still in use for sure. It's just not the only option anymore.
Fair. Just a little few and far between. I think we crossed that bridge a little bit last week when we were talking about vinyl DJing.
Yeah.
Which we kind of talked about it before we started. It's kind of a bit of a dying breed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
It's
there's
still
a,
around.
it's still a
Yeah.
little
It's just
bit.
like it's
yeah.
just not that it's not that everybody doesn't have to run vinyl now, right? So
Mm-hmm.
like for most club DJs that aren't, it's like you just kind of like scratch hip hop DJ, or it's like you don't really. I don't know. It's like kind of one or the other. You're kind of like a battle or scratch DJ or a hip hop DJ, or you're straight up club DJ, like running on gear like what I have. Like I would never use motorized platters or like any of that stuff. You know what I mean? Like
Well, even
it's
then, I feel
it's
like-
a whole different. It's like a whole different ecosystem. That's
Like some of the hip hop DJs I'm into, like the DJ Premiers or like
yeah.
the God DJ Premier, or like even like mashup type guys like Scratch Bastide. Like they're more on
Should
like.
show you that.
He played Banff a ton of times.
Yeah, I
Scratch
guess I'll
Bastide,
go
you
for him
see him
once,
back. Oh yes.
Should show you that. Is it DJ Fresh that won UMC last year? Dude, if I show you that set, you'd be like, "What just happened on those decks?"
Yeah,
like
man.
like
But the point was even them, like I feel like they more use the time coded vinyls now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So for those that don't know what those are, it's basically there's a vinyl on there, but you can change what's playing on the vinyl, correct? Through
it's
the computer
just,
system.
It just
like
controls your software.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just like it's just control vinyl basically. Like you put it on your deck, it controls
So you don't have to
your
actually
software.
change the records.
Yeah,
know
you
what I
just
mean?
do it
Like-
on your software.
yeah,
You can
yeah.
load samples, and then you've got like sampler, and yeah, it's kind of like the best of both worlds. But
Yep. I mean, the digital, sorry, the time coded vinyl, I think is great for hip hop DJs as well because I mean, you don't have to. I mean, the problem inherent with records is that after a while of it playing,
wear
you
out,
wear out.
yeah.
And so.
and carrying them.
And with clubs nowadays, with the extraordinary amount of bass and bottom end in there,
Right,
you
the
have to worry
needle as
about
well,
the
yeah,
skipping
yeah.
part, which is why we had to inevitably stop playing records at the Hoodoo, was because they would just keep skipping on us. So we would, they had put the tennis balls underneath the half tennis balls to try and cushion it a bit.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the end of the day, it's just a lot of bass,
Victim of your own success.
Yeah.
That's such a banging party that
Yeah,
the,
oh, yeah.
the records are jumping.
Well, it was
That's
like back in the day when you'd be driving in the car and you hit a pothole. You're like, oh, that's gonna skip in like 30 seconds.
Yeah, the CDs for sure.
Sure enough,
yeah.
like 30 seconds later, you're like, oh, that was that speed bump we hit. Like, it's about 30 seconds.
crazy. So you moved here 2003, was that correct?
Yeah, end of
2003-ish?
2003, 2004. It's all kind of a blur, but around that time.
So how'd you link up with Blacked Out? They
Yeah.
holler at you to come do some recording? How did that go
Yeah,
down?
so I mean, growing up in the valley, Dicker and Morgan are both from Annapolis Valley.
Yeah.
So
Okay, cool.
yeah, I grew up playing in bands that would be opening for their bands and playing shows with
okay,
their
okay.
bands, and
Cool,
so
cool.
yeah, we all got to know each other. It was a pretty tight little circuit,
Okay, sick.
So
Big shout out. I think I served the drummer at the Grizzly House at my work. Not like maybe last year.
That's
they came
Dicker,
by and,
yeah.
like Channy was like, look, that's the guy.
yeah.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, oh, sick, super nice guy, awesome.
He's
Like,
amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, yo, like I kind of heard you're in a sick band, bro. Like, it was great. Anyways, back to your story.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, I just so I knew them, and once I got out of school and got back to Nova Scotia, doing a bit of live work, a few small recordings, nothing particularly special. He called and was like, "Hey, we're looking to do a demo, maybe some live shows. Did you want to come out and be part of that?" And I was, yeah, I mean, for sure I would.
Sick, yeah.
So and I guess that kind of starts the whole down the Banff Road thing, and yeah, it just turned into a long spell, and it was great.
Yeah,
Did a couple of projects, did a lot of shows with them. Yeah, it was a good time, good learning experience for sure.
Nice.
crazy.
That's wild.
What is it about Banff that sucked you in like the rest of us?
Oh, aside from the beauty, of course. Shortly after doing some work for Black Dote, ended up getting a job at the Rose and Crown doing sound. So, I'm sticking around in my field a little bit. So stuck around for that, and then ended up meeting Geneva, my lovely wife. And so, the rest is history. And
Nice.
we're still here loving it. So yeah.
Right on. Very lucky, I think, to come to Banff and find work in your field. That's just like
Very
such
lucky.
a bonus.
Yeah,
Don't
very
let
Doesn't
lucky.
happen too often.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people will start elsewhere and work their way to their field.
Totally.
You just kind of lucked out and got it right away.
Very lucky. Yeah.
Funny enough, you spoke so highly of CD Plus. When I put your name into Facebook to see if you had any social media, which you don't, by the way, don't bother with, there was actually pictures of a reunion party that I guess they maybe have tagged you in or somehow like wrote your name in there.
They did. I was unavailable that night, but yeah, I think that was at Wild Bill's, maybe or Mel's. I can't remember if it was after the changeover or not, but yeah, CD Plus reunion. That was...
For those that don't know, CD Plus was a CD store where you used to go in and buy CDs here in the town of Banff.
We had one in my hometown.
Was it in the mall?
Yeah, it was in the basement of Cascade. It's where where the drugstore is now, but it was a smaller space.
Yeah.
The drugstore is expanded, and anyway.
I think it was a different brand of CD store when I moved here. Maybe it changed.
So it started out as a top 40 music when it was in the space the dollar store is in now.
Okay, cool.
Years before CD Plus, and then CD Plus bought it and turned it into. It was a small store that was just beside where West Rock used to be.
Yeah.
And then, underneath the stairs, and then it expanded to the other side of the stairs, and then it went with the rest of the CD Pluses.
That's great. Is there any CD stores still open? You'd think. Probably not.
When I moved out here, that was like 2014.
Like HMVs or something? Like, all just went under?
Yeah, I remember there being like Sam the Record Man in like Toronto.
Yeah, maybe like the bigger chains. Sam or HMV might
I think
be.
has one still on Yonge Street down there.
Flipping through the binders of CDs.
Binders.
Yeah. I don't even know, like, because I don't even have anything that plays CDs. Like, I don't have anything that plays a CD.
Oh, wow.
It's like, why? Well, I don't need to. I don't even have CDs.
Oh, I amassed a huge collection of compact discs from working at that place.
Well, like, they don't make laptops really anymore with CD drives.
Nope.
They
No,
don't
they
make
don't.
Macs with CD drives, like even desktops. Like if you want to, you've got to specifically like buy a CD-RW and like playing it beside your fucking laptop.
It's a shame too, because I mean CDs are the last, like, it's a fully uncompressed digital format. Like it's the full deal. Like there's no MP3 compression, there's no streaming compression on it. It's there. As
far as quality, it's like
as far as quality, it's as best as you're gonna get. You know, I think.
Dude, so my buddy's got CDJs. My buddy that bought my decks for me, he's got CDJs. Like he just upgraded to a XDJ last year, but he had some like older CDJ. I think they're like 2000s or something. Like, and he was straight up just burning CDs. I'm like, are you still fucking using CDs? He's like, yeah. I'm like, well, you just use a thumb drive. He's like, I don't know. I like CDs. I was like,
I mean, if you have that ritual of like burning CDs and
and then he's like, I gotta have the same song on probably like 100 different CDs, because it's just like you just make a set list and just print out a couple of them and fucking chuck them in. And he's like, and then you like a couple of songs, so that goes in another one, and then he's like, oh, I can go through and there's just like the same song on like 10 different CDs. It's awesome.
So we mentioned like obviously the quality of CDs, right? Is there anything else that you guys miss from that era, like music wise? Is there anything that you think is, again, of higher quality back then that maybe we lose now for lack of ease, or do you think it's worth the trade-off?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, convenience.
Yeah, like
convenience is a good trade-off if that's what you're into. You can store a lot of MP3s on a small little space, you know. So there's that.
Like I just think of something, say like producing this show. Like if we were to do that 10 years ago, there would be a lot more going into it. It wouldn't be quite as easy. You know,
it would be a lot more expensive.
Yeah,
big time. Because like the price of gear has come down just because
so much.
Everybody is doing it now,
the
right?
Demand,
like, like the average guitarist now, like if you're a guitarist in a band now and you don't like write and produce your band's music, it's like pretty much like, what the fuck is going on? Like somebody in the band is going to be like the one producing the most of your material, and then you just send it out to a mixing mastering engineer and have them fucking mix it, master it, send it back to you. It's like you can record all your own shit at home. Like I
just feel like it's so much more streamlined than it used to
like,
be. Right?
A lot of bands will like go rent a studio to record drums, but like guitars, bass, and then, like vocals, they'll go do somewhere else. But
yeah, so by the time you went to school, like was recording already digital, or was it in that transition?
Yeah, it was mostly digital. I mean, it's only the bigger studios would have the better digital setups. When I went to school, there was one analog suite with fully tape machine, full analog outboard gear, all that stuff. There was only one. There was
feel like that's
3 digital studios and a whole room of computer DAW setups and with MIDI setups and things like that. So it had gone mostly digital by that point. It was just the price was still high.
Yeah.
So the buy-in then was still kind of like you had to really
You had to get like Pro Tools and then,
yeah,
like,
Pro
you're
Tools was
paying-
still expensive and it was proprietary
Yeah,
at that
exactly.
point. You couldn't just use any sound card. You had to use a DigiDesign card. Like it
Yeah,
was,
and they were expensive. I think they're like $2,500 a pop, like
Yep.
something like that. It was like but not only did you have to buy Pro Tools, but you could only use their hardware
Yep.
to get the sound into the PC.
Wild.
So it's like you can have whatever the fuck you want before. Like you could have both of these racks in there before that, but like at the end of the day, you need that. And if you don't have it or it goes down, you ain't recording today. It's not like
not in Pro
you can just
Tools.
grab our
Yep.
interface, plop it in there, and be like, "Here you go."
Yeah.
like ready to go. It's like no, man. Like you can only use one. So it was. I remember back in the day, like even when it was all digital, like you'd go to record at a place, and most of the gear was still analog.
Yeah.
Like if it was a nicer studio, all of the gear was pretty much analog. It's just the final piece in the puzzle is just converting that
Fair
over
enough.
to digital, right? It's the same thing. Like I've got that 2-channel like tube mic preamp over there, and it's completely all analog. It just feeds out into the digital interface that feeds it into the PC. So it's like you use as much analog stuff as you want. At the end of the day, it's all getting digital. The signal's all getting
Yeah.
converted to digital, anyways. It's just how good you can convert that signal.
Interesting. So recording's gone leaps and bounds. How do you stay like up to date with all that stuff? Do you like? I'm sure you gotta just
read a lot of
lot.
sound on sound.
Yeah. Like lots of just like gear reviews and just like sound engineering magazines,
Yeah.
and forums and videos on YouTube. Like
Yeah.
like go to shows, like go to gear shows, like you go to NOM,
Fair.
check out all the new shit, but you can't keep up with it all, man. Like there's a new plugin, there's a new piece of rack gear every friggin' 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It's
Oh
like,
yeah.
I'm starting to get all those ads now because we talk about it.
Yeah,
it's
they're
probably
listening.
that, and it's probably that we've got like thousands of dollars of My Waves plugins on your PC now,
That too.
so that will
It's
definitely do it.
like, you've spent money here.
Yeah, they
It's
know.
like, this
More
guy
money
spent
here.
$2,000 here, send an ad for another
Oh, yeah.
one, man. Get him in here.
Yep.
It's only $29 this time. It's like, oh, really?
Yeah, they
Drop-
coax you in with them cheap prices,
Oh, yeah.
don't they?
It's like 29
Yeah.
bucks, and then you're like,
Yeah,
that one's
6
good. Then you're
times.
like, well, I kind of want that other one. And like, since this one's only 29, I could buy like the $150 one and the $29 one and save a bunch of fucking money.
I don't know,
And
man.
every fucking time, man, I'll buy 3 plugins every time I go in that store.
I try not do that because I find it leads into like plug-in clutter.
Yeah.
And then I'm like,
You have too much to work with.
instead of just having my go-tos, I have to, maybe I want to use maybe this one, maybe, and that no.
Oh yeah.
I have that, so I just keep it simple as
I did
possible.
did that a couple years ago. Went in and just like cleared out all
Yeah.
the plugins that I wasn't using.
Totally.
And like I'm only really ever using a couple, like the CLA, the SSL bus compressor, and like the SSL channel strip, like a couple other ones, right? Like you don't need a whole fuckload of stuff on there, like DS or like whatever. It's like the same few plugins I use for everything.
A cluttered desktop.
You just need the
leads
right
to a
ones for the
cluttered
right
mind, you know?
Yeah,
things.
yeah, you
you
just
don't
need the
need
right-
you don't need every plugin on.
I guess you would just like find what you like over time and stuff, and
Get
overuse.
get used to the sound of things and know what kind of to look for and what you're looking for and go get it.
Yeah.
So what are you getting up to when you're not working on music?
Well,
Or
I'm playing a lot of retro video games.
nice.
I like old video games, old consoles like
Yeah.
that, Nintendo, Atari, things like that.
We had a little N64 party last week. Me and
awesome!
Rick. Yeah.
Love
we were,
N64.
NC or NWO or N. What is it? WWF.
Oh, WWF.
WWF
Oh my
Revenge.
god.
Oh, sick,
Yeah, back
sick,
in the day
sick.
before the
Nice.
lawsuit. So,
Awesome.
Oh yeah, it was awesome.
What's your favorite retro game running right now?
Oh, I mean, I'm always partial to the Mario Brothers series. I mean,
Mario
that's-
Brothers, nice.
Play a lot of Earthbound 2. I like that kind of
Nice.
RPG stuff.
Banger,
and
yep.
Legend of Zelda, things like that. Mega Man,
Nice.
the classics.
So are you playing on console? Or are you doing?
A little bit of both. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, there's some consoles that I just haven't picked up yet.
Yeah.
So I emulate, obviously, lots of
Nice.
them, and but we we have an original Nintendo, and
sick.
we've still somehow managed to keep our backlit tube TV alive.
Oh, really?
So
Nice.
the duck
How
hunt
did
is
you get that?
the duck hunt's running strong.
I know because they don't work on they don't
No,
work on modern TVs,
no.
You're
right?
cheating at Duck Hunt, like getting
Yeah, you're getting real close.
Yeah, getting right up
Yeah,
into it.
Put it right on the screen. And I mean, your parents are always like, "Don't you gonna scratch the
Yeah.
screen?"
Yeah,
It's like, okay,
yeah.
sorry, man, I'm just trying to win.
You're
here."
gonna burn your eyes out.
Yeah.
Standing so
Oh
close.
yeah,
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's alive for now. We're having fun with that.
nice.
I can't quit playing Skate 3. 3. Like for me, Skate 3 is
Oh, yeah.
pretty old. Like,
Yeah, it's a good one.
I've had a
Dude.
resurgence of Skate
Just
3.
download Skater XL on Steam.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much better, dude.
Nah, Skate 3 is a classic,
No.
bro.
It's like a skate simulator. It's so good.
And it's
The
sometimes it's
devs
a little
really
too
suck
much.
ass because they don't listen to what the fuck anybody says. But the game itself is fucking good. So
I feel like Skate 3 is the perfect mix between like simulation and you can still do insane stuff on it. So-
oh yeah, I slayed at Skate 3.
Oh, I started playing the Master or the PGA game that's not Tiger Woods.
Okay.
And I played the
Yeah.
Banff Springs yesterday.
Yeah,
My
yeah, I
word,
heard,
it was
I
so
heard that.
sick.
Yeah.
Dude, we can play around. We
They
can
have
play
a-
a round of golf because I got that shit too.
Yo,
That's
it
cool.
got me hyped.
You gotta add me on Xbox
I
now,
was
bro.
hyped. I got my hat on today.
I was gonna say you're representing
yeah,
too. Yeah,
that's
yeah.
why.
Oh, God.
So multiple different projects over the years. Enough
Yep.
about us. One that we didn't mention yet, but we will, is systematic earthly gadgets. You guys, you said you put on a bunch of big hoodoo nights.
We
You
had some fun at Hoodoo for
audio
sure.
and visual, which probably wasn't really going down at the time.
Yeah, I mean, didn't see a lot of it. I mean, there was some for sure.
Because that's Matt's like bread and butter. That's what he does.
Yeah.
The DJing and the visuals, right? Like that's
Oh,
the
yeah.
whole VR scene is a mixture of the two now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
Like,
like-
like if you don't have visuals, it's like what the fuck. Like I don't think I've ever seen a DJ in VR without visuals, like of some kind. It's
Yeah.
at least just like a static video, like a static image or like a video, like a quick little video or something. Like
Yeah. So what was systematic earthly gadgets visuals all about?
Well, the visuals that we had were being produced by a guy named Dark Buddha.
cool.
He was from town. He lived
Sick,
in town. He was a DJ as well. Played in a group called Archimedean Groove. But he did the visuals for us, and we did we concepted shows with him. We did one show at the Rose and Crown where we turned the whole stage into a mock-up of the deck of the Starship Enterprise.
Oh my God.
And we did a whole Star Trek show, all in full dress up, costume, and everything. And we had the visuals on the back screen of the whole team behind us, you know, and other things, of course, as the party raged on. And then, we did another one at the Hoodoo. We did a 3D party.
Oh, cool.
So we had Dark Buddha did some 3D visuals, and we got 3D glasses for everybody at the door.
That's so sick.
And that was a really good time. Yeah.
What year was that?
Oh, dude, that spanned from probably I think we started the systematic project probably around I want to say 2007, 2008.
Yeah.
Something like that, maybe.
Because I remember maybe like 2009, early in my Banff career, going to a party at the Hoodoo and being given 3D glasses. Like you just
That was our party.
struck a core memory.
That was our
But
party.
I didn't know it was that there.
So probably our party anyway.
Yeah.
I didn't think anyone else did that, but
No, I don't think so.
yeah. So that was it spanned from that till 2007, I guess, till 2000 and 10, 11.
And what type of music was it?
It was all electronic music, all original music that we produced. It started out kind of me and Eddie Boutin, amazing human. We used to get together at his house up on a small hill, and we just jam out, show each other loops and ideas that we had worked on. He had a couple of synths, so we would jam live to some stuff. We'd get some loops playing. We finally put a little bit of a 10-minute little whatever together of stuff we could do.
Yeah,
And took it down to a jam night at the Magpie and Stump, hosted by Kelly.
Jam night at the Magpie. That's,
There were
I wasn't here for that.
hosted by other local legends. Grant Slavin, Carl Seibar,
Yeah.
Kelly Houlihan's fame.
Big shout out.
Big shout out, yeah. They were hosting. They let us come on and do a couple of songs, and then I think after that we ended up maybe picking up a gig at the Rose and Crown, and it just kind of snowballed.
I think that's how it is in this town. You put on a good party once,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
people
that's
want to
pretty
come
much
back
it.
out, especially if it's like a unique sound. And
Yeah.
seemed like a unique concept for the time, for sure.
It started out it was crazy. We were lugging so much gear down to the stage. It was stupid.
Yeah.
We had two
That's my favorite
turntables,
thing to do. Lug gear. Oh
two
my God.
turntables, two computers, two synths, and these are desktops. mind you.
Desktop
okay.
computers.
yeah, like synthesizers and crates full of vinyl, and it was just like anything went at those parties. Like if we felt it, we would play it. Like it would
Crazy.
And then it slowly got to the point where we had to kind of structure it a little more, and so we started like producing full songs and grouping ideas together, and so that we could deliver them in more of a coherent way.
Nice.
Yeah, well, that was like Dan was that for the podcast that we did at Rosencrantz.
Yeah.
He's like, fuck, we can carry all this gear up these stairs, man.
Imagine
it's
carrying
very, like,
crates of vinyl, man.
Sobering
crazy
experience,
vinyl,
you know? Like,
half stacks, like, oh man, it's like,
it's crazy.
well, like when I went to play New Year's, it was awesome because I just brought my decks and my pieces. My laptop, walked in there, set everything up. I'm like, dude, I didn't have to carry one amp tonight, or drum rack, or anything, or
Beautiful
like,
thing. Your backpack.
Oh yeah, just a backpack. And
How the
backpack.
times have changed.
Oh god, yeah. It's like, well, it's not that. It's just I'm not playing in a band right now, so I don't have to carry a whole bunch of gear. It's just I'll let you carry my amp downstairs next time I got to take it somewhere, and you'll be like, why the fuck would you ever take this up or down 3 flights of stairs? It's like, like an amp cab is just like awkward, and you can't, like, it just sucks.
Well, I think it's important to highlight that out, right? Like a lot of people sitting at home listening to this might not realize
It's a lot of work.
the amount of work that goes into your local guys going up there putting on what they've worked hard on for, I don't know how long a project would take, like weeks, months, years sometimes based on the project.
Yeah.
But
Depending.
a lot goes in behind the scenes that people do it just for the love of the game.
Totally.
You know?
Totally love the music, man.
That's crazy. Like we were talking about it earlier, like you don't have social media yet you still put out music. We were discussing it's probably for the love of the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
Yeah, it's never really liked social media.
yeah, that's fair.
Didn't find it a comfortable place. So.
Yeah. One of the rare ones that have
A lot
stuck
of
away
dicks,
from it.
A lot of dicks on there.
Well, I don't know. I think there's like, it's a crazy aspect of people's lives, and to avoid it completely, like, is very rare. I only know you and like maybe a couple other people that have managed to avoid it completely.
I got sucked into it because music, podcast, recording studio, bands.
That's it. I mean, there's no excuse, but
I was a MySpace kid though. That's pretty much what happened.
I had MySpace for sure back in the day. That was the spot
MySpace
for
was
a
crazy.
long time.
I just touched the tip of MySpace before Facebook
Just
came
the
out.
tip.
Just the tip. Just the tip of the MySpace realm. It was like you could put your song. It was very, very customizable, right? Like customizing your own web page.
Taught
basically.
everybody how to code.
Yeah,
It was sick.
it was. I remember like having one, I think, or just checking them out. I wonder if it would still be out there. I think all the MySpace are still
I think
out there.
I don't know.
I mean, in preparation for this little get together, I was going kind of looking around the internet to see what was still out there for some projects that I'd worked on, and a lot of it's gone. Like
Fair.
a lot of it, if it's not active for a certain amount of time, they'll
They'll just
take it
cut you
out,
down,
and even like Wayback Machine and stuff like that won't find songs and SoundCloud. I was reading the SoundCloud uploads and stuff like that. They get gone. So
They just
crazy.
they got lost. I
SoundCloud's
guess.
just wild though. There's so much shit on there. Like
so much.
I hate crate digging on SoundCloud so much that I just pay for records, or just fucking. I have a record pool that I pay for as well. So I'm just
I've been in record pools for sure.
Like,
That's a good way to do it.
I'm like, I'm not doing this shit. It's like
It's a good way to sort through the.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate
like,
saying that because all music's beautiful, but
Yeah.
there's some stuff that just doesn't appeal to you.
As
it's
an
like,
artist,
you
know?
can't like you know how it is. You can't just get up there and like play a song you absolutely hate.
It's hard, but
I
I mean,
you can, but it's just like it's soul crushing. You're just like, oh, really, dude? I gotta play this. I had someone ask for Ed Sheeran one day. I was like, actually, I do have a sick drum and bass Ed Sheeran.
I mean,
cover. I was like, I
it's
got
why you
hold
got to
on.
keep a cool remix of something now and again.
You gotta be prepared. For that.
100%. What about Sugar Shack Recordings?
Oh yeah, yep.
That was a recording collective.
Yeah, it was a bunch of. I mean, it started out with just me and Antoine and Carl. We kind of like started making rap tunes. I was making beats, Antoine was making beats, and Carl was rapping on all of them.
Yeah, most of what we talked about has been electronic projects.
Yep.
So the Sugar Shack Records was more transition into the hip hop realm for you?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, I started out, going back to the, grade 6, I kind of got my musical awakening in the golden age of rap music in the 1993, right?
Yeah,
so,
same,
I mean, I've always been really drawn to that sound, that boom bap sound, and, that sampled, that to me is, yeah.
It's a very, no other style of music. Well, no, that's kind of. I was gonna say no other style of music borrows so heavily from other genres.
Totally. If you want musical education, listen to rap music.
But I mean, I've been listening to some
dude.
like they're talking about how Elvis just stole a bunch of stuff from like.
Totally. It's
like,
all about
yeah,
lifting, man. Like people covered songs like crazy back in the
listening
day.
to some of your stuff earlier, and I was like, "What's that?" I'm like, "Oh, that's 93 Till, bro."
Totally.
Yeah, and
I
as soon
slipped
as he
it in
said
there, right?
clicked.
Yeah.
So
I
sick.
recognize that piano riff instantly.
Yeah.
He's like, "What? I'm like, "Yeah, it's 93 Till." He's like, "Oh, it is." I'm like, "Oh yeah."
So maybe I am correct in saying that hip hop is kind of maybe unapologetically borrows from other genres
But
and
EDM
turns it into its own thing.
EDM does the exact same thing. Like you go look up bootlegs, it's just like it's like that 9 Inch Nails song I'm working on. Do you think Trent's gonna give me fucking rights to use the like Closer to make a dubstep song out of? I don't think so.
I mean, if anyone, it would
You can
probably
ask.
yeah.
But
If,
anyways,
like they offered all their music, they're the first ones, Nine Inch Nails specifically, to offer their music for free on the internet
yeah,
and just charge a bunch for their shows.
yeah. Like
So
Trent knows
they
what's
like
up.
yeah. So,
But,
yeah, you never know.
Yeah, it's kind of how it goes. You just do what you want, man. Like it's the same thing in EDM. It's all just covers of popular songs, just done in a different, like either house or tech or.
And I guess kind of
drum
the
and bass or
digital
dub.
the digital transition kind of paved the way for that, right? Because
Oh, big
before it wasn't so easy to
No.
or not borrow. How would you say it? Get inspired by other people's music and create something new with it.
Yeah.
Was much more difficult. So wild stuff. So transitioning to hip hop, Sugar Shack.
Sugar Shack. Yeah. So that we did a lot of rap music, and it was a good experience, man. We got to do some shows with Dragonfly Empire from Calgary, and just put out a small EP. And then we had some little technical problem there and lost everything.
You mentioned that in the notes you sent me. You had a project lost.
We had everything. We had the all of the work we had done. We had recorded probably over 25, 30 songs.
Oh Lord.
And we hadn't even, we were just kind of like starting to maybe sift through them to put together what would be maybe an album, hard drive failure, computer failure, double whammy. And so lesson back up 3 times.
Yeah, word to the wise. As soon as I got your notes and I read that, I went plugged my backups in and checked
to
everything. I was
backups.
like,
Oh,
Yeah.
we got like, what do we got now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Good.
7, 6,
Good.
7 back.
quite a few. Yeah,
We got enough. It's like we got 2 hard drives on that PC, 2 hard drives on that PC, 2 terabytes over there, and you just bought another 2 terabytes.
Yeah.
I think
So,
after our first technical issues, I was
That's
like,
it.
I want to get set with
You
it.
learn once, right? Once it happens, you're like, okay,
Oh,
this
yeah.
is not happening again, right?
I did it once. Well, actually, Reaper has a cool function where if like you're recording, like I was doing a band, you could just set it to autosave like at every 5 minutes. Just do a
Amazing.
temporary save.
Yeah,
Because if you're working on a project for like an hour
it crashes.
and you just haven't hit Control S,
Yep.
it's just crashes and you're fucked. Like that's it. It's all gone, man. So
Yeah, that was a huge problem back in the day. First
oh,
digital
big time.
recording setups with Pro Tools
Yeah.
crashing on slower computers
yeah.
and losing all that work.
For sure, like processing power was nowhere.
well, and
where
the save
it
back
is.
then wasn't just like Control Save. It was like you had to like it took a minute to like
for sure.
get anything done. Like converting MIDI to like wave is just like MIDI alone was just like fucked. You're like, oh god, dude, like
Insane.
It got better.
So when did the transition from more like recording based projects to live sound? Were you kind of always doing live sound at the same time?
Always,
or-
yeah. They
Nice.
both kind of went at the same time. I mean, would say I started recording first because we wanted to record the band, you know,
Yeah.
and things like that. But I got into live sound, I guess in like later in high school when we were doing these gigs with all these bands, and I mean the sound is terrible. No one knew how to interconnect a PA, like. So a little bit of knowledge I did have, I managed to, figure out at least how to set it up and get it working. And that
Yeah.
kind of was like, all right, well, I can do this. So I don't know. I learned a lot about that at school too, about how to, properly do the live stuff. But you learn a lot. You learn even more once you get on the job.
Oh, yeah,
The
it's
school
like-
teaches you how to speak the language, and then you got to get out there and learn
Actually,
how to
yeah.
do the do.
Yeah, I feel like I'm sitting with like 2 of the most technological, like most tech dudes that I've ever,
It's wild, dude.
2
Like
tech minds. In
well, even
one
like
room.
Rosencrantz, super simple setup. But there's like if you walked in there and I tried to show you how to hook that up, you'd be like, the fuck is this?
Oh yeah.
You're like, well,
I
how
mean-
many goddamn wires are back here? You're like, oh, it's not really that many. That's just like for the 2 snakes, and then all the rest of the stuff just goes to the compressors and the EQs and effects, and then it just goes right to the board. And you
Do you prefer one more or the other, whether working live sound or recording projects?
I prefer recording, I think.
Yeah.
I like the control.
Yeah. Like live sound for me is it's always just like try to make it sound as good as you can, and then just like damage control.
Yep.
As the night.
A lot of
goes.
live sound is just damage control.
Yeah, it's like shit goes wrong. People step on stuff. Shit gets unplugged. Beer gets spilled.
Small rooms, especially.
Small rooms, yeah. Like like the Rosencrown. Like trying to EQ that room is just like you got to EQ like 5 different sections of a room into one, and you try to make it sound all right, kind of.
And then people come in.
And then people come in, and it's like, what the?
I mean, yeah, that would have a huge aspect on the
Massive
sound,
difference.
right? Like you
Massive
fill the room
difference.
full of people.
Yeah, you put 500 people in front of the band. That makes a massive difference. It's like now you walk back 20 feet, you don't really have a whole lot of stage volume because there's 600 people standing in the way.
Yep.
And it's just like, yeah, it's recording is just like set it up, get it how you want it exactly, and then just.
Well, I feel like you can showcase more of your artistry through recording, and your skill, your expertise is more like evident. Whereas maybe on a live set, it kind of is more like you said about damage control. Unfortunately,
Yep.
What a way to
It's
put
just
it.
part of the game.
I mean, in some cases, for sure. I mean, not always. I mean, sometimes you get a band that knows exactly how to play for the room, and then
fair.
you're really working it, and it's great. You know?
Oh yeah.
But yeah, those maybe more few and far between.
The guys that bring like a friggin' 8 by 10 bass cabinet and a full stack to Rosencrown, it's like, dude,
For those that
you
don't
could go
know,
like this and touch the ceiling on stage, bro. Or like guys like, you gonna mic my snare? For what? It sounds like a goddamn snare bomb.
It sounds like a
at
bullet.
The
Sounds like a
very
bullet,
back of the
yeah.
bar. It's like sounds like a goddamn shotgun going off, dude. Have you seen this bar? The guy's like, oh, I guess. I'm like, your snare is only 4 feet from the ceiling.
Yeah, I used to get around all that nonsense. I just used to do a full mic job on everybody.
Yeah.
And then I would just a lot of times use very minimal.
yeah,
You know, I'd use what was necessary, but to them it felt like, you know, it was
they
there.
were mic'd up, and so okay,
I had someone.
a lot of psychological.
Yep, big
I
time.
had a guy that had an 11-piece kit, and he only had 2 drums with him. And then I was like, okay. And I had to set up all these overheads and this crazy. It was just like the weirdest setup I've ever seen. And he goes, "Oh, hey man, is there any chance that you can get a mic on this kazoo here?" I'm like, "Absolutely the fuck not." All right, let's hit some kick. I'm like, "Are you kidding? Man, I'm not like gonna guy. What, are we 5? No, we're not doing this."
Hey, kazoo's a very important piece of the orchestra.
Like,
brother.
come on, man. Like, what are we on? Goddamn Barney? Like, I was like, by that time, I was just like, dude, absolutely the fuck not. And he's like,
had
why?
any,
Why? I'm like, no, we're not doing this today. Okay.
Have you ever had any crazy instruments you've had to mic up, or?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, I guess I could say the most craziest thing would have been a suitcase.
There you go.
A suitcase.
A suitcase.
Microphone in the suitcase. They're beating it
At least a
up. Punk
kazoo is
show.
a goddamn instrument.
Yeah. So yeah, there was a very
Experimental.
experimental band. Yeah,
All
that's
right.
a good word to put it, word to use there. I came through and yeah, they had I guess it was a suitcase, man. This chick was
Yeah,
just kicking a suitcase.
Nice.
And they also had like a Casio keyboard with the little green drum buttons on them.
Oh, like the old school Casio, like the little cheap toy ones. Yeah.
And acoustic guitar, and so that was the arrangement. But yeah, you
Crazy.
you mic a suitcase.
Yeah, sometimes you mic up a suitcase. Sometimes you mic up a kazoo.
Little
Yeah.
sidebar about the Casio keyboard.
Yeah.
I saw a video with members of the Gorillaz, and the famous song was it Clint Eastwood. It's a preset on the Casio keyboard. It's like preset Rock 3 or something.
Totally.
They're just like, he's like, yeah, man, like this is it. And they play it.
This
And
is
it's
it.
like, and then the beat like drops. It's like, oh my god, they changed it like so slightly.
Yeah.
It's perfect. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool old pieces of gear, man.
Right?
You know, those keyboards.
Undiscovered.
You know, especially
yeah.
get to circuit bending. Ooh.
Oh, big time.
So the pandemic was pretty interesting for you. Big project coming out of there. You did a project with another local legend, Andrew Philpott.
Yes.
Stay Gold. If
Nice.
you are out there listening, big shout out.
Yes.
go.
Yes.
We'll have a chat with you eventually.
Oh, yeah, gotta get him in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I checked out that project. It
He's
was
a legend,
great.
man.
It's like mindful hip hop, great production.
Cool.
It's available on his SoundCloud. If you guys go check it out. Andrew
Stay
Philpott.
Gold?
Stay Gold, yeah. How was working on that project for you? That sounded like a super fun
Yeah, man, it's great. I mean,
Yeah.
I've known Andrew for a really long time, man. He's like a brother, you know.
Top
So,
dude.
Oh, it's awesome.
Top dude.
when he wants to do a project, I'm right there. So
Heck yeah.
you know, it was good. Just, you know, happy that he, you know, picked me to pick my beats, you know. So
Nice.
yeah, that was a really fun project. We I think we cut like 7 tunes, maybe
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
7 or
okay.
8, but
That's
we have
decent.
one kind of in the chamber. We're kind of been putting off recording.
Okay.
So you know, I tapped him the other day to maybe stoke that fire again, get that
Nice.
finished. But yeah, that's a fun project. Took up the pandemic, and
Yeah, sick. Good to see some positive projects and positive rap projects
Yeah.
coming out. You know, I feel like,
yeah.
especially in the hip hop realm, it's always, not always, but it's mostly hell bent on being negative or
exactly
you
has
know,
a
what
negative
sells
spin
is
on
the negative connotation to it. But there's conspiracy theories to that too, as to why.
Yes,
that
there
negative
certainly
stuff.
is. Yeah.
If you
We're
don't
not
look
getting
into
that.
it, it's
Don't get
it's
into
a deep
that.
hole.
Don't
It's
get
a
into
deep
that
hole.
rabbit hole.
Where were we here?
What's one guilty pleasure song for you? Like one that's like completely
man.
off your usual radar, but you
man.
absolutely love.
Yeah, there's so many songs, man. So many great songs out there. I think one, like, probably the one that makes me feel the best when I'm feeling like low, my go-to to, you know, pick up is probably Morning Sunrise by Weldon Irvine.
Cool. I'll check that
Okay.
out.
70s kind of soul number. It's
Nice.
Yeah,
Sick.
it's just a beautiful piece. Yeah. That's my kind of my go-to when things are whatever,
That's
you know.
definitely the deepest pull from the crate that we've had of our musical guests. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
Leave
I'll
it
be
to Chris
checking
to
that
just
out
have
later.
like the craziest deep dive on that one. Like just nice one.
That's sick. I can't wait to check it out.
Yeah, check that out, man. It's a real good listen.
What about you, Matt? Have you thought of any new guilty pleasures or what?
No, man.
I've been
I
on a
just
jam
listen to
band
way too
revival.
much shit, dude. I'm a heavy metal
I guess it's saturated.
cellist,
Yeah.
EDM DJ.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Got lots on your plate.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 I don't know.
My
Like-
newest band I've discovered
Any-
Humphreys McGee.
Oh, they're wicked, man.
Yeah, so I've been kind of on a jam band bend.
Cool.
Kind of started with the Dead, transitioned into some more like palatable stuff. I feel like the Dead and Fish and those like really hardcore jam bands are not always palatable if you're not in the state of mind, so to speak. Like, yeah, the jams of the Dead are the jams. You can listen to those anytime, but some of the deeper dive stuff is like out there. You kind of got to be in that mind frame.
Totally.
But Humphreys McGee, I found a cover of Bittersweet Symphony that just rocked my freaking. It's so sick. If you haven't checked it out, I think it's called Baj Symphony or something like that. If they do an album, I think it's called Zonky. It's all covers and mashups. It's
Awesome.
insanely good.
That's
If you haven't
sick,
checked it out, go check it out.
That's sick.
So yeah, that's probably that's not even guilty. I just like it. It's not even a guilty pleasure.
I just like it.
Should we move on to some posts or what?
Let's do
I
it,
think
bro.
it's post time.
I think so. Get these boys rocking here. I haven't even seen them yet, really. Dan got them ready this morning, so
Bro, I'm on it.
we'll have to
I
see
checked all
what's
the
up.
dates of all the posts. No, start from the bottom and move your way up, I would say.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
we're doing it
Yeah,
reverse.
we gotta go
order.
reverse.
Alright.
Just
Do
that's
it.
kind of the way it puts them in.
You can move them around, Dan.
Yeah, you know, we'll get there.
Alrighty.
So the first one is hilarious. Just some random person. Bow Valley Community Connection. Love the anonymous complainers. If you want to read this one out here.
Says, dear pedestrians, just because you push the cross button doesn't mean I can slam on my brakes on short notice and stop within 5 meters while going 50 kilometers an hour. You can walk your bike into the side of my car as much as you want. Then Then stand in the middle of the road for a while after steering as if it's the car's fault that you almost got hit.
So I guess it sounds like there was an intense standoff here. And the
Whoa.
person in the car is calling the other one out. So, yeah, winter driving, man, the roads are so iced up.
50 kilometers. an
Sounds
hour.
like maybe both
gotta
are a
be
little bit to
Canmore,
blame
yeah.
here. Yeah, this is Canmore. No,
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't be posting that you're going
Yeah,
like
right.
almost twice the speed limit.
Like,
no.
careful.
Hey, I was speeding by almost twice. This dick lick pushed the cross button. I fucking couldn't stop in time. Clocked the kid.
So this is a phenomenon I've been exploring. It's the anonymous posters of Bow Valley Community Connection. These are Canmore pages. That one and Community Connection, and there's Bow Valley Network, which are like pretty uniquely Canmore. There's very little moderation on them, and you can post as anonymous. So people just like, this is obviously someone calling someone out. Hilarious
Yeah.
both ways. You're probably both to blame. Hilarious. Post anonymously. Own up to your stuff. This one's a little bit different here. A little bit more serious. This is about the closures that's happening in Kananaskis.
Oh, what for?
Giant part of Kananaskis is closed down for this, is what the post reads. The other concern is that while most of it is closed for 8 days, they will close and restrict most other areas starting in March through to the summit. So there's a huge part of Kananaskis is being closed off for the G7 summit.
Oh.
And obviously people are upset about it. Just complaining. A bunch of areas, including some very famous hikes. So from June 10th to the 18th is the G7 summit, but some closures will be on going from March forward. Obviously, they have to secure a huge perimeter. Some of the top leaders of the world will be attending, so it's not uncommon. You've seen probably crazy military planes flying over because they are preparing the area. So if you do have hiking plans, maybe check the maps, check the closures.
Camping, hiking.
Yeah,
you don't want to get arrested by the FBI or something just to go for a hike. It's like Interpol got me. I was going on a hike. It's like, well, how the fuck did you do that?
If you do enter a closed area, I'm sure it's not going to be they're not going to be hunting you down. Just don't be in there. You'll be asked to leave. It might just ruin your day. That's all. But
you were going on about this one earlier. You were talking
this one's pretty funny. So this one is a casting call that some lady put up. I guess it's probably still open. So it reads, casting call. Hi, everyone. I'm currently looking for athletic men and women between the ages of 27 and 45 for various roles in a Jeep commercial. Here are the details. The shoot date is one day between February 18th and 21. I'm sure it's probably a weather window in Kananaskis area. $500 a day. So go check it out. If you want to be in the ad and you fit this description, go and check it out. There's some little instructions of how to shoot a video and whatever. We won't get to that. But the reactions to it were hilarious. So if you want to cut to the next slide. The next slide was the first complainant. The first complainant reads...
Oh my god. What the fuck is ages now? Why are people just making up words now? Come on, guys. Stop being such babies. Go up here, give them a tug or something. I don't... Fuck me.
So the first one reads... Body shaming and ageist, great pairing. The reply reads, is it though, if the market research shows that athletic people in that age range are their most frequent customers, is targeting exactly what your ads are for, not what companies should do? I'm sure if the data said 70-year-olds were in a key portion of their market, they would adjust. If you owned a children's toy store, would you use adults in your marketing? Use some common sense here. People just love to complain. I love the reply just shredding them, which was pretty funny. There was another one. If you want to cut to the next one. This one's written a little bit smaller, so I'll read. So this one is the discrimination slide. So this one reads, why is it every time there's a casting call, they're always looking for someone athletic? What's wrong with someone who is fat? Discrimination. Sounds like, just people complaining over nothing. I'm sure there's roles with people that are larger, and I'm sure they cast appropriately. But when you're probably casting in the Bow Valley, you're probably looking for an athletic audience or an athletic subject. Now, a few of the replies to this one was a sweet Napoleon Dynamite Uncle Rico going right on. So big shout out to that. That was pretty hilarious. The next one again, just calling a little bit of reason into the conversation, going, they said athletic, not skinny. A sumo wrestler would be athletic. Although, to be fair, I'm not sure a slow motion of a sumo wrestler oozing out of a small Jeep would be that cinematic. So, started great, finished great.
Oh, burn at the end.
Yeah, pretty funny. And then the last one was because they want to sell things.
That's rough.
Not that larger people can't sell things, but a Jeep, what are the Jeep ads that you see? It's kayaking,
rugged wilderness, people out fucking hiking mountains and shit. Do you think my 600-pound life is gonna hike up a goddamn Howling?
I just thought it was hilarious, the reactions to a simple casting call looking for a specific demographic. You know what I mean?
Trolling, just everybody trolling and back and forth trolling and trolling the post.
I love
and
it.
then trolling trolls.
It's not for everyone. Not great. Everything is meant to be for everyone. So moving on. Parks Canada here. Some great news. Do you want to read this one, Matt? Can you read it from there?
Yeah, it says today the government of Canada announced over 160 million in funding for Parks Canada and the recovery of Jasper National Park town site with support for Jasperites in several ways. Of the 131 million, it says approximately 30 is directed towards interim housing for Jasperites to return to the community, with 320 units arriving next week. So that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, for sure. It probably won't be swanky, but at least they have, what did they say, 320 units for residents to go back. So great news. Less than a year. Well, how many months has it been since the fire? Like 6 months, 8 months?
It was
right.
Really last summer.
Again, great for Parks Canada, great for the government. Finally, some good news coming from the government. Kind of cool to highlight some positive stuff.
No doubt.
160 million in funding. There's also a bunch of stuff about the Canadian Mortgage and Housing Corporation.
They're building like 240 permanent homes over the next 3 years.
There you go.
With a total of 505 in the next decade. So, I mean, it's going to take some time. You can't just build a whole.
For sure.
You can't just build back half a town, and it takes time to build a home. So.
I am seeing like people coming through the town of Banff that I'm interacting in my workplace, being like, "We're going to Jasper next. We're doing that." So
nice.
People are returning, which is kind of sweet to see.
No doubt, no doubt.
Speaking of returning,
oh yeah, another. This is another from the ashes return.
From the ashes returns. The Rundle Thrift is reopening its doors tomorrow, February 12th, from 5 to 8. So the post reads, it's finally happening. We're looking forward to opening our doors again, just shy of 1 year since our closure. We hope you'll bear with us as we continue to fill our shelves and racks and work on smaller projects within the store. There was another post that I saw kind of previous to that with them looking for a donation. So, hey, if you got big bags of clothes you're looking to get rid of.
Nice. Yeah, I got to take some stuff down.
That are in good order. You don't want to be your garbage. That's not what they're there for. But
nah, not at all.
Rundle Thrift is back. This one was a bit of a scam. So this one was posted about, I think it was a Red Deer, or they had multiple locations throughout Alberta. The post reads, just a little morning tea. Did you know one of town's humble boutiques, Sweet Home on the Lake, is under fire for selling like $500,000 in gift cards only to close later? Yikes. At first, it was about raising money for a parking lot in another one of their locations. Now the RCMP is investigating the fact that this was likely a fraudulent go. So basically, their whole thing was you'd spend $100 and you'd get a $200 gift card. The math truly isn't mathing. So I'm going to give a little pat on the back for this rug pull type scheme. Some people blame the rapid expansion, 5 stores in a year or two, and not being able to keep up with expenses. Either way, the Sylvan Lake community is understandably irked following the massive small town ordeal. Yeah, apparently the RCMP is investigating. Wow. So like
that's Sylvan
kind
Lake
of a real-time rug pull, which is pretty crazy. Hopefully you didn't buy gift cards into this place. If anyone's ever advertising like 2-for-1 on money spent on a gift card, I think that's a big red flag for myself personally.
Yeah, seems pretty good. Too good to be true.
Yeah. Huge red flags. Huge red flags. Back to the anonymous poster thing.
This is awesome.
This next post is horrendous. I don't know who in the right mind would post this, but it's another anonymous post on Bow Valley Community Connection, and it reads, "Hi everyone, smiley face. I just wanted to let you all know that if you need a ride anywhere after 11 p.m., feel free to comment here. I'll send you my number." And then the first comment reads, "Seems like people will use a taxi service that is certified and not a random person from an anonymous post." And then the next one is the classic Leonardo DiCaprio Great Gatsby with a glass of wine meme, and it says, "I'm going to go missing soon." So I don't... Yeah, guys, what's your thoughts here?
I'd probably just call a cab and not get murdered in the middle of the night or robbed.
Yeah.
So
cab all the way for sure.
Yeah. Call yourself a cab. Call a friend. Call anyone but this anonymous person.
Should have put his number on there.
The creepiest part is the smiley face at the beginning. You know, it's like, "Hey, I'm trying to get you comfortable here. Call me for a ride."
Oh my!
Maybe it's a woman.
Could be too. No one knows.
Maybe it's a woman.
Yeah.
So the next thing here that we have to go through quickly. Valentine's Day is coming up, gentlemen.
Mm-hmm. Hells yeah.
If you're out there and you have a significant other and you're not prepared, we thought we would give you some ideas as to how to get prepared. Now,
well, first of all, we got...
Yeah, you got to have to read this one because I can't read this one from here.
These are from the Google... So what did you do? You Google searched?
Yes, I was like, well, since it's Valentine's Day, I should probably get some Valentine's Day content running. And I was Googling hilarious Valentine's Day gift ideas because that's kind of what I was looking for. Something real funny to get my significant other. More like a joke. No, I'm just kidding. But then this comes up and it says people also ask. So these are the most popular.
At top 10 most popular Valentine's Day gifts.
I got the first like 5 here.
So it looks like number 1, obviously roses. Number 2, perfume. Number 3, a Bluetooth speaker, I guess, for the boys.
Bluetooth speaker. Crazy, right? I thought that was strange.
And then number 4 is couples massage.
Couples massage, spa treatments. I think I would kind of loop that in. So those are the top 4. Roses, chocolates, Bluetooth speakers. I guess
Perfume,
make sure it's waterproof.
perfume
You can
as
kind of
well.
listen to in the shower. That they do those.
Take it to
now.
the spa.
There you go. Take it to
You
the
can
spa.
take it to the
That would be so annoying.
It's so annoying.
You get kicked out. The next one is
What can I give instead of candy on Valentine's
so
Day?
this is like the next prompt. So it's like people also asked, and then there's all these different questions. So this is like alternatives to candy, and they read DIY cards. Great idea. Magnetic sand. Maybe if the person you're seeing is autistic or, maybe has textile things going on, that would be great. Bath bombs, pretty cool.
There you go.
Great idea. Slime.
Hey,
What the fuck is and then the next one, bath slime and bath fun. What the fuck is bath slime and bath fun? I want to know what is
That's
going
kind
on
of what
here.
made me laugh. I didn't know why they had to differentiate between slime and bath slime.
I want number 6. I want option number 6. I want
Play-Doh.
The next one. Play-Doh.
Yeah, I don't know. If my significant partner gets me Play-Doh, I'm going to start asking some questions about myself.
No, man, I want Play-Doh. The whole Play-Doh factory. That'd be sick,
like,
dude.
make food and
Yes.
stuff.
Yeah.
I don't
make this pretty.
Yeah, you can make like the macaroni noodles and shit.
These suggestions were insane. That's why I want to put them up. This one was, how do you spoil a guy on Valentine's Day? So this one reads, baking him something he likes, like brownies or a cake, a basket of his favorite candy, a framed picture of you two, a home-cooked dinner. The person writing this would like to receive any of those things. If you want to add lingerie or other favors, then you're really outdoing yourself. These to me seem just like normal things. Like,
Yeah.
notice there's nothing purchased or bought there. That's
Well, yeah,
hilarious.
candy.
Oh yeah, I guess candy. You're right. I'm kind
And a
of.
picture frame you technically would have to buy, but you probably
Yeah, I
got
guess
one
you
soon.
would.
You probably got one.
I feel like these are all normal things that you should be doing for your
Yeah,
loved
just
one every day.
normal stuff.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, no doubt.
Anyways, big tips for the ladies.
Bing, bing.
Part.
Maybe the last part.
So, Yeah.
What is this one?
This
Oh my
last
God.
one is probably my favorite funny one because there's one from the previous post that is on here.
Oh, commonly disliked gifts.
Yes, this is the worst Valentine's Day gifts because, of course, we're going to do the best. We got to do the worst. First one, household appliances, a vacuum cleaner or a toaster is not a good Valentine's Day gift, guys. If you have one, rethink your strategy.
The next one here, the old lingerie.
Now, comes with an explanation. Though.
Yes, it says cheap, ill-fitting, or poorly thought out lingerie can be awkward, dude.
100%.
Just let the
Now,
honey pick it out for you.
when I read this, I was thinking, I played out that situation in my mind. Could you imagine you're in a rush, you get the wrong size, and then it comes time, and it's
I wouldn't want to
either,
be fucking with that.
if
That's
it's
one way to end the date.
if it's too small, you're cooked.
Too big, you're cooked too.
I think if it doesn't
There's
fit,
no,
you're cooked.
it's
There's no-
right or it's not
Yeah,
right.
It's
so
either
I
perfect
think-
or you're fucked.
Lingerie falls into both of those categories. Can be a good gift if executed properly. Can be a very bad gift
Yeah.
if
Right.
poorly executed or if cheaply executed, I think.
Well,
So
it also says here last minute flowers too, like a tired looking bouquet from a gas station is not ideal. Cash, including money in a card, is often disliked. I mean, that's like a
Yeah.
birthday present, bro.
well, it's just putting no thought into it, like
Yeah.
getting someone a gift card or cash in a card. Like your significant other doesn't want that. They want thought involved. It doesn't have to be expensive.
The last one I actually like this. This is
Yeah.
jokes. This kind of ties in with the other athletic people. So it says exercise equipment. Giving exercise equipment that wasn't requested can be awkward.
Yes, sir. Sure
So,
can.
Definitely skip on that. Maybe keep that for a later gift. I feel like
Something.
yeah, exercise equipment.
Maybe buy that for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe just
There's ways around that. If that conversation needs to be had, that's not the way to do
Nah,
it.
it's the way.
Oh, hey, surprise.
Yeah.
You're working out now.
So I figured I would include some tips on what to do and what not to do this coming
Nice one, Dan.
Valentine's
That's
Day.
appropriate.
Thank you. I thought it'd be kind of funny to include. Chris, thank you so much for coming in, chatting with us
bro.
today, man.
Thank you guys, man. This has been great.
This is
Thanks,
so
man.
much fun. Great to bust on where the music industry has gone and come, and analog and digital and wild stuff, man. Wild
doubt.
stuff.
No doubt.
I think it's cool to kind of shed some light. Like, I've known you for years, man. We go way back. When did we meet?
We
Like,
do. Seen a lot of shows together.
Yeah, seen a lot of shows. Like, I was telling Matt, every time we go to hip hop show, it's like VP.
Yeah,
Yeah.
VP Barkhouse all the time. It's great.
that's it.
Yeah. What's the next show? I don't know.
I
have
don't know,
tickets.
man. I haven't got anything coming up. I've been
Same.
not on the radar.
I got tickets to a comedy show. That's it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice one.
Forget his name. TJ Miller, I think it is.
Cool.
In
Calgary.
Calgary. Yeah.
That'll be fun.
It'd be cool.
Hell yeah.
Comedy shows are fun.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
time.
I think just getting out of town for a comedy show. Seeing
Yeah.
a bit of a bigger act.
Yeah.
Not that the acts in town aren't big. You should go check out our comedy episode if you haven't already. But that's all the time we got for you today. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Thank you, Chris, for coming by, taking
yeah.
the time to do this with us. It's been great picking your brain. If you haven't done it already, I don't know what you're waiting for. You should probably hit the subscribe. We bring you new episodes every week. If you like this one, we got plenty more on the way. We got guests booked till like at least April now.
Damn, son, you've been
So,
busy.
Awesome.
Yeah, I've been busy, man. Lots of people want to come. We got lots of exciting stuff ahead. Go give us a follow on the Instagram at Overheard Pod Banff. Do you want to tell them your SoundCloud? You don't have to if you don't want to.
Yeah, B Code Beats, I think.
Yeah.
SoundCloud, B Code Beats, B.code. You can find me that way. On a Google search.
B.co. Tons of great mashups, hip hop oriented stuff, some electronic stuff. So yeah, if you're looking for something to listen to, and go check out that Guilty Pleasure. I'm gonna go Google that right now.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
So thanks everyone for your time, for tuning in. We love you all. It's been a great week, and like every
Hells yeah.
week,
See you next Tuesday.
Peace.